This is a short video for all of you independent game developers out there, whether you're, leading a small team or doing work for yourself as a hobby or supporting yourself through your game development. But either way, you're in charge of your own games and you're choosing the scope and whatever. When I was at game development school, which I was only there for like 3 weeks because I quickly realised that I was in the wrong environment and I wasn't going to learn anything from there and that I was wasting my time. But one of the things that there was this teacher there, and he seemed to think that it was his job as a teacher to constantly drill into us the idea that we always have too big of a scope for our games, and something that I see, and that it was his job to sort of to bring you back into line and to belittle your ideas and to try to make you be more like realistic, which it can be really good advice, and his intentions were good, I'm sure. But there's so many videos these days that I see in this attitude in the game development community as a whole, where it's like scope creep is like this enormous like enemy, and everybody thinks that they're really smart for pointing it out and being like, you shouldn't have a game that's this big or with these features or whatever. Like, oh my god, like it's, that's too much for one team and it's going to get too complicated and you can't do that. And it can be good advice, and there is definitely a point there to be learned from experience. What game development systems, what the systems behind the game, what they look like as they start to get fully fledged, and how complicated they can be and how much time goes into these things. Like, it is good to be realistic and to understand all of that, but at the same time, it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out, and it's a cop-out to tell somebody that they can't achieve the scope of the game that they're going for, and it's a coward's move, to be real. Like, who the fuck is anybody to tell you what you can or can't do with your game, or what you should be trying to do with your game? And if you have a vision and an idea that you're excited about and you want to do all of these systems or whatever, then who the fuck is anybody else to tell you that you can't do that? So that's the message that I want to instill to you today, is because the message is this: it's that your enthusiasm for your project is more important than any realism or idea of what's realistic for a project. You're more likely to succeed, I think, doing something that you are passionate about and you are driven to learn about and invest a lot of time into, than to something that you actually don't give a fuck about just because it's realistic and you're doing something realistic rather than something that you actually care about. I think doing something that you're passionate about, you're much more likely to succeed. So that's my advice for the indie devs today, is to do the work that you feel inspired to do, and fuck anybody else who tries to tell you otherwise. Peace.